So I'm getting some messages about some stuff about to happen in the near future, and we're moving to a new Earth, and it's going to be a different road with different needs. We're not going to have the needs that we had here. And I'm not all clear about it. I'm not all excited about it either because it's unknown. So
everything's unknown right now.
I want to get some clarification about it.
A new Earth. For many, how many have heard that? There's even a book about it from beautiful Eckhart, Mr. Tolle. Well, what would you say a new Earth is? I mean, just for the fun of it.
A new way of thinking.
Okay, a new way of thinking, a new paradigm. Anyone else?
New dimension.
A new dimension? Okay. Anyone else?
Higher vibratory level.
Higher vibratory level? Well, this is what it is really about here. When you're looking at a new Earth, okay, there's a beautiful planetary matrix right here. Put a smiley face on it just for fun. Nose. Many call it feminines. We'll do that. So we'll play Mother Earth, Father Time scenario, right?
Yeah.
Ears. All right. Beard? No beard? Pick a boat? All right. All right. Well, huh? It's a mom's, but we'll give her a small little physicality. She's got a big head. So, all right. All right. Now, if we get rid of all that stuff for a minute, all right? We got this beautiful planetary matrix, all right? And if we have this beautiful planetary matrix, what do we call this? The old, all right? We'll call this sex, power, greed. We'll call it density. We'll call it karmic grid work, because it is what it is. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Karmic overlays. I'm going to come right in. I'm going to blast you right through. You're going to blast me right through. Robo's going to sell it literally. We're going to have a blast, and we're going to celebrate it too. I mean that very literally. And then we have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful part called a transition, which is what's happening right now. Now, without being, this is the part that becomes so colorful because how many have heard so much about it's going to be bliss and Heidi Flighty, we're all going to share marshmallows and make s'mores and stuff, right? And you want some celery? And I had one dear brother, I was in New Jersey, Mike was there, and Jen was there. He was singing Wang Chung or something. Remember that dear brother in the kitchen? And he was doing meditation or something like that, and things like, he was like having instant physicality jerk reactions during our event. It was entertaining. I gave him credit. But he put a coffee bean in my mouth, and he asked me to eat it. And I was like, all right, but I prefer it, in a cup. But this is where we're playing with. That was a true journey, by the way. It was such a riot. I was at Miss Fisco's. Okay, well, this is what we'll call a new Earth. And everyone's correct. It's dimensional. It's vibratory. Now, how many have also heard about the ascension status, which really equals waking up, your vibratory level soaring, but then all of a sudden everyone's going to be teletransported to a whole nother planet. That's a fun one, too. I'm going to Uranus. All right. All these colon fetishes tonight. You gotta love it. All right. Okay, so I'm going to... dimensional vibratory levels. What this really equals, those that are in a much denser state. How many have noticed how many dear ones, just like that, are leaving the planet? Why do you suppose that's happening? Many, let's be clear. They're at a finishing point. Now, I will also share, it's not that like, they have to drop their physical, step out, yada, yada. They're just at a breaking point. No ifs, ands, or buts. Myself included, I've gone through it 8 times. Bring it on, let's have a blast. And it really was a blast. That's not the issue. I found it very entertaining. But regardless, a finishing point and so forth, there was being offered the opportunity, period, to step out of the physical. How many got to see that beautiful breakdown of HIVs, cancers, over this last year? It might as well have been influenza. So many dear brothers got it. Just like that, everywhere. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? It all had to do with dimensional and vibratory levels. Many dear brothers said, hey, you know what, thinking but no thinking, I've seen it, I've played with it, I've even worked with it, and they're right back in the body. The cancer's gone. But they said, hey, you know what, I'm ready to step right in and run forth. There was one dear brother I was playing with that all of his tests were coming back totally inconclusive. But he decided to let the outside, literally, specifically, still have all this say something. He was jamming, flourishing, stepping up, running forth. And he decided one day to get so wrapped up in politics and his niece that he just all of a sudden couldn't stand. Within a week and a half, he left the planet. It's that literal, but it's that simple. And I mean that very literally. We got a call today that a dear brother we've been playing with just left the planet, what is it, last Thursday? Or last evening? But she'd been jamming, but the interesting part was her daughter just got married, she just had an offspring, and she had the opportunity, something we've been playing with very indefinitely with this dear one, to step into her live stream, her personal now. The daughter's taken care of, the beautiful branching out, they were running forth. But now where can I go? Or do I want to go? I mean, we're looking at very right here. This isn't fly by night. But this is where you're looking at the old, leaving. It's not bad, it's not good, it just is what it is. But see, when you're looking at a new earth, you're looking at a whole different vibratory resonance. And I can tell you, we're not going to have any Woodstock things anytime soon. But it had been there and done that. And the hallucinogenics were outstanding. You can still buy them right over. But you see, that's not going to be repeated either. But it's a coming together. That's why you're watching so much chaos hit the head, so rapid, and die. Because it's not being supported. And it's happening like that. I kid you not. You watch politics right now. You have the best of the worst to vote for. But it's all collapsing. And there's nothing being able to be slipped under the rug anymore. The secrets are being exposed. But not all this conspiracy habla. I mean, what is it you don't have the ability to know? Are conspiracies real? Absolutely. But is it something to become preoccupied? Absolutely not. All of it's transcending. How many have seen reptilians? How real are they? Well, they are there. All right. But how much of a say-so do they have? How many have heard of the Illuminatis? Are they there? Yeah. How much power do they have? Whew. Zero. I was playing the other day even with poltergeist. That was fun. Your bill is this. No, it's not. And I'm just teasing. But it was a blast as far as I was concerned. I was totally entertained. I was selling tickets. You sold me 20. But regardless, it was a blast. But no matter what, they're there. But how much of a say-so does it have? We can play unless you give it to it, so forth and so forth. Well, it still doesn't have that say-so. But on a new dimensional plane where things are moving very rapidly, all of this, that nothing's new here. It's all coming to a head and leaving. Goodbye, permanently. That's why you've watched it come in such brilliant waves. And as it's coming brilliant waves, it's all hitting ahead so quickly, but dying off so rapidly. And that's where your writings can become clear just like that. Your vibrancies can become clear just like that. Because see, we're not playing over here, we're playing right here, right in the midst of all of it. But yet, we're not taking it in and letting it control and dominate, even the way you feel when you feel that way. All right, it is what it is. Now, let's go on with our day. Would you like another cup of coffee? Not the beans, in the cup. Okay, but you're transcending, you're watching the whole planetary matrix, including the templates change. Did you have fun with all the weather pattern changes? Who knows what season it is? It's Vegas. It's supposed to be summer, but wasn't it really chilly last week? Watch what happens over the next 2 weeks. It's a riot. Because even that's changing.
Is it because of the polar shift?
No, it's because the consciousness shift. When you go outside and you watch the particles in the air, it's actually mass thought forms. And you go out there here at 2:57 in the morning, 48 seconds, 0.3, you'll watch those particles dissipated. The decks are clear. Even here in Vegas, funny enough, and watch how quick it gets cluttered, but regardless, it's aligning. But it's really quite humorous. But it's really quite beautiful because the astral planes of consciousness, which reside right through here, are also breaking apart. They don't have that same say-so, nor the magnetics. At one point, this was so solid, I mean, there was no barriers from the outside in and the inside out. It's what you would call the metaphoric dark ages. There was total density, but you call it dark, it was just the absence of you anyways. It was just a lot of survival, running around, everyone turning on each other.
How literal are the changes? Are we going to have the same jobs and
No.
the same scenarios, or
No.
everything is going to shift and change?
Everything's changing. But I'm glad you asked that, because will there always be plumbers and your brothers making Slurpees? Absolutely. But not because I gotta make the bills, on and on and on. Some of your brothers just have a blast doing it. But you see, that's a lot different than I gotta survive. But your careers are going to change. And that's part of the beauty here. Because how often can you do the same thing and not be in a cyclical cycle? I mean, it becomes way out there. And that's where, even when it comes to health facilitation, when it comes to, call it energetic work, call it alternative, call it medical, and so forth and so forth. The funnest part is all the diversities, but beyond that, how much more it presents and grows, and how much more are you growing beyond it, rather than it taking you over. Now, I'm not saying let's go give our 2 weeks notice or a month's notice, whatever, but watch how much it transcends for you. I mean, isn't it, for an example, when I first stepped into the body, from the hospital bed, the wheelchairs, blindness, yada, 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 all the way to high integrity massage. I mean, it was such a riot, because wouldn't you assume that's the end-all be-all? But that lasted less than 2.5 years. And then I was presented with the door here to come to Vegas. Actually, Susan and Wolfers were there. And my bride was in the front row. And that took off through the US, Canada, now everywhere on the planet somehow. And what are we going to do after this? Well, now we're writing our second book, Mr. Connell, and now my bride and I, and on relationships. Now, wow, where's that one going to go? And then we just did these big interviews. Mike's working out contracts so brilliantly to do something totally different. Have you ever seen the chassis of a transmission? Just teasing. Everything continues to grow and metamorphosize. Even when we played with DNA research and all this fun stuff, it took on its own life. But where's the boxes, is what I'm sharing. You don't fit in the boxes, the head does. But you outgrow it. But now there's not a singularity, locked in state. Because remember, from an old paradigm, you grow up, you go do the scholastics, academia, so forth and so forth and so forth. Now you do repetitive. Then, for some reason, you have this calling to hit a white ball and chase it. And they call that retirement. Well, that's so not the case any longer. You're constantly metamorphosizing, again, adding into, growing beyond, to go so much further. And the other benefits, the abundance go with it, to offer so much more to play with. But the most important part is the willingness. Without the fear. Because when you question that, what is there to lose? So why don't all of us question that for a minute? If all of us walked away from our everyday to-dos, what would happen?